entrepreneurship and NGO, it sort of sounded like an oxymoron to me. So can someone tell me, what do you mean by entrepreneurship and what is an NGO? And also then how do we bring these two together? So entrepreneurship, let's start with that. I'm sure that's going to be easy for IIM students. So who wants to say what is an entrepreneur, please?
Entrepreneurship is try to find a challenge somewhere and try to do whatever possible with your means, that you have, the tools, also the knowledge, and network people, bring people together to try to achieve a solution to this challenge. So
Okay.
I know it's very general.
Very interesting. Achieve a solution, solve a challenge. Okay. Anything else? So mobilizing resources, finding a solution to a challenge. What else? Okay. Now that sounds like a lot that can be replicated in any space. So what is like? Is that entrepreneurship?
Would you like the microphone?
Am I loud enough, or do I need a microphone? Sorry, I increased my face. But if you guys can't hear me, you can please come in the front, or just like let me know. So I'll try to be loud.
Actually, sir, like recording purpose it needs.
Oh, okay. So that's it. Is that it? Do we want to add anything else to it? Okay, no. Does anybody want to say what is an NGO? Wow. No one for entrepreneurship, only one hand, and no hand for NGO. Okay.
Are you still sleepy? It's 10:45.
I'm not a teacher, but I'm happy to like pick people up and say, can you please share something? This is not very technical. Come on, please.
So basically, as per the rules of democracy, the government is supposed to take care of the society. That is why we elect them. But because the government cannot do everything, we have private individuals and the enterprises coming together and doing their job. Basically, the government's job, which is the society's welfare. So that's a non-governmental organization.
Okay, so you said non-governmental organization doing something for social welfare. Something that typically a government should do, but the civil society comes together and does that. Okay, and so when we look at these two spaces together, like social welfare and entrepreneurship, what is the contradiction? Like usually in a business schools, we will not be talking about starting an NGO. Why is that? So I mean, I'm very impressed by this, because when the first time when I got this email, I was surprised. But yeah, let's go. Please.
Normally, people want to start a company to generate profits, not
Okay.
just to manage these profits. But an NGO is a non-profit organization, so maybe that seems like more like a contradiction: entrepreneurship in NGO than entrepreneurship in corporates.
Okay, that's one good one. You said businesses look for profits and NGOs are not for profits. Okay.
I also feel that in business schools we are normally taught to achieve goals for our own, to do things for ourselves, whereas an NGO tries to promote goals for the community, for society as a whole. That's also a big difference.
That's very well put. So a business may have a goal that I want to achieve, say a 2x or a 5x or a 10x return, while an NGO may have a goal that I want to impact so many people. So yes, that's true. Okay, so I come from a space which is like a hybrid. I'm going to put on the presentation. So Switch On is a not-for-profit. We started this way back in 2008. We were a group of young people who had studied filmmaking. I was a lot into environmental documentaries, visiting UN conferences, selling governments to come up with a fair negotiability. So that's my background. We had someone who's done MBA from SPGen and few other people. So we started Switch On with a very strong concern for the environment. And so this is where I think an NGO differs. You start with a social concern. Like you said, you'd be solving a challenge as an entrepreneur as well, and in this case, it has to be a challenge that you face in the society. That's how we started.
You can use this.
Okay, we started this in 2008, strong environmental concerns. Very quickly realized that climate change, energy sustainability very closely are interlinked. And if you're looking at solving the climate problem, you have to first solve the energy problem. We put together a case on India's energy security and how it was mainly coming from coal. And few of our friends, they cycled from Kolkata to New Delhi, traveling through the coal belt to understand the social and the environmental impacts of coal mining, meeting up with governments, policymakers, experts, and very clear solutions available. I think now we all have more solar energy and clean energy and what are the different sources and how do we do that. And but at that time, solar energy was extremely expensive, almost I think 3 times more expensive than conventional energy. India faces a really big challenge that 2/3 of our country does not have access to energy. So you can't scale up clean energy to get to the bottom of the pyramid when it is so expensive. And so with this as a challenge, we said that we want to solve this in a sustainable manner. So what does that mean? An NGO, usually how they work is they pick up a challenge, they mobilize grants or funds to do a certain project or a certain pilot study, and when that fund is exhausted, they look for more funds. And so we felt that that is not how we wanted to work, because a lot of times the challenge with NGOs remain that they can't scale up. And we are all talking about scale up. How do you do that unless you have a model which is financially sustainable? And so that's when we started Onganic. Have you had Onganic come and speak about social entrepreneurship yet? Okay, so Onganic is a social enterprise that provides clean energy solutions to the bottom of the pyramid in rural India. And they are a business, they are a for-profit company. But here the difference is they want to be financially sustainable. They don't want to they need to make returns for their investors, but their goal is impact. So their goal is we want to impact 5 million lives by 2020. We want to impact 10 million lives by 2025. So their goal is how do we reach out and take the solution to more and more people, and at the same time scale up, make money. So this is a space where I find where we do both the work that we do at an NGO and at not-for-profit. So what we do at Switch On is we find these challenges and see how can we incubate a business, a social business around it, so that they can find such solutions and scale it up. Onergy's case studies, I think you may find at IIM, they've come and spoken a few times. They're an incredible social enterprise. They've brought in a lot of innovation in the BOP space on how can you bring in financing to make a solar energy product which was initially not affordable by a poor household in rural India. How can you connect them with microfinance? How can you connect them with banks and suddenly make it affordable for them? So this you bring in a lot of innovation in business model, you bring in a lot of innovation in technology. So how can you bring down costs of your technology so that your stakeholders can afford it? Servicing was a really big challenge in solar sector in rural India. A lot of companies would come install systems which would stop functioning because there was no servicing infrastructure. Onergy set up this model of setting up renewable energy centers in the hearts of rural India. And currently they started operations in 2010. In the last 5 years, they've started working in 5 states of East India and impacted over 4 lakh lives. And they're a 20 crore company. So that is an incredible example of how social entrepreneurship or entrepreneurship in the social sector work. Going forward at Switch On, we started to do a lot of work in the agriculture space, and mainly with smallholders. So these are smallholders who would own lands between 1 and 3 acres, really tiny scattered lands. And so we said, what kind of entrepreneurship or what kind of business model can we think of for them? What are the challenges they face? And one easy thing was, they have small quantities of vegetables. They go to the closest market, something that they sell, in rural India for 2 rupees. We could be buying that in Kolkata for 20 rupees. So wow, there was an opportunity. So how can we create a model that can help them come up with a sustainable model that brings value to the entire value chain? Usually this space is currently being occupied by middlemen. And so we brought in these small holders together, formed them into a farmer-producer company. I would have normally asked, does anybody know what's a farmer-producer company? I'm not sure if this bash has woken up yet enough. Does anybody know what's a farmer-producer company? A farmer cooperative.
You should know what a cooperative is in any case.
Yeah, I see one hand there. Okay.
For farmers coming together and they are selling their produce together and getting the profits under one specific company.
Okay, which is one of the biggest, largest farmer cooperatives in our country. Sorry? Yes. So farm producer company is just the next level where now you form them into a business. So now they run a business, they come together, there is an operational team that runs operations day to day, makes the money, makes the business plan. So they have a 3-year business plan for the farm producer company, which they follow, they engage in different profit making activities. And each member of the farmer of the group is a shareholder in that company. They all have equal voting rights, and any revenue or any profits that the company makes, of course, then gets divided between the shareholders. So we formed them into a farm producer company, and currently this farm producer company sells produce in 3 states. So they work with over 20,000 farmers in West Bengal, aggregate produce, different kinds of produce, and then sell in different markets across different states. They are still not a profitable venture, but we keep introducing new. So this supply chain activity that they do brings them profits for 6 months in the year, and the rest of the 6 months we started to see what else can we bring in into their business plan, into their activities, so that they become profitable. And that brings me to the next level, the next social enterprise that we started. So one of the really big challenges that farmers face is, I'm sure all of you have heard about farmer suicides in our country and how that's becoming a really big challenge. I'm not going to ask you many more questions, but the reasons is, I'm sure we all hear about debts, that farmers get into a lot of debts because of each produce that they grow, they need to take in a lot of loans for that. And why they need to take loans? Because earlier seeds were something that they would preserve, pesticides, fertilizers were all organically, naturally made, and now they need to buy all of these things. And the prices of them, their cost for agriculture has increased maybe over 5 times in the last couple of decades. So it's really expensive for a farmer to now grow a crop, which initially he would grow free and use labor from his own home. So we said, how can we bring his costs down? And at the same time, the prices that the farmers get, I'm sure you all know, it's a supply chain thing. If they end up having a good harvest, they end up getting a very poor price for what they've grown. And so it's a supply chain mechanism. And so how can we make sure that there is a decent amount that they are able to get regardless of their output, and how can their costs come down? And one simple solution is organic farming. So that's what we introduced with our farmers. We did a lot of training. So how the NGO works is a lot of the capacity building is taken care of by the NGO. And a social business like an Energy or an Onganic takes care of the marketing and the business side of things. So the farmers started growing this food organically, and they use a lot of indigenous seeds because you can't save hybrid seeds. And so you go back to, I don't know how many of you all have heard of red rice, brown rice. Has anybody heard of it? I see a few kids nodding, that's nice. So these are indigenous varieties that we used to grow in our country. India had over 20,000 varieties of rice. I think 6,000 of them survived. And so we said, grow your indigenous varieties. Red rice was growing very well in areas where we were. So we said, let's cultivate that. And once they had these harvests, they realized that the traditional market does not buy red rice. They do not buy black rice. They are very nutritious. They are much more healthier for us to eat. Organic food is of course great for everyone to eat, but the traditional supply chain does not have the capacity to take in different kinds of indigenous variety, bring it to the city, and create access to it. So that's when we stepped in and we said, can we find a sustainable solution to this problem? Because if a farmer does not make money with what he's growing, and we saw that in many cases, a lot of work has been happening to train farmers to grow food organically. But because they can't find markets, in a few years' time they all shift back to chemical farming. And so we said this is a critical piece that needs to be solved so that the farmers, so that we can scale up our impact, and that's very important. If you can't scale up your impact, you know, you remain, you can't like really make a large difference. And so that's when we started Onganic Foods last year. It's a social enterprise that connects small organic farmers with markets. And we introduce all kinds of indigenous, healthier varieties of rice. There could be red rice, brown rice, black rice. The traditional varieties are of course there, like your centrico, etc. Pulses, spices, what have you. And so the farmer producer company is now engaged in aggregation of organic produce. They are engaged in processing of this organic produce, and at the same time they're now trying to start working as an organic fertilizer supplier to their farmers. So now they can take up a business where they become a dealer of an organic fertilizer supply company, supply the same to their farmers at a subsidized price, and also make money. So the idea is that how can you develop a holistic model so that you become sustainable. The idea is not to make very large profits, but to bring benefits back to your stakeholders, make sure their incomes increase. So some of our farmers, because of some varieties that they are growing now, their incomes have increased almost 3 times. So that's the kind of impact that we talk about in the not-for-profit space through a social enterprise. And it's always exciting for me to come and talk to young people, because when I talk about a career, like what do I want to do in my life, I mean a lot, money is important, but a lot of times a lot of other things, and especially I think with young people now, a lot of other things take a priority. It has to be exciting, it has to be fulfilling. You want to do something where you challenge all the time. You want to do something where you constantly are growing, and you're learning, and getting opportunities to get exposed to different things. And I think social entrepreneurship is a space that provides all of that. And if you take up social entrepreneurship, then you needn't really look at a career where you're not able to provide for yourself. So if you are entrepreneurial, you have the skills, BOP is a great market. There is a lot of opportunity. Our country faces a lot of social challenge. And so we can step up and say, we can find a sustainable solution to something like that. At the same time, it can be profitable. So that's what I want to share. I take questions later.
General questions, yes, but specific to your